All right, this is going to be topic 13, vocabulary. As you always know, you can, if you'd like, draw this table, or you can just write the definition and then what I write down the definition is along with the example. At the end of your notes, you're going to show me your note taking of what you took, and then I will give you my signature. Here we go. So a regular polygon has the same sides, same length, and same angles. For example, you can draw this picture here on the right, and you see that this shape, this regular polygon, has the same length of sides. They're all the same length. And the angles, where you see 135, those little corners, that is the angle for that corner, 135 degrees. Every corner is 135 degrees. That is the definition of a regular polygon. It can be any shape. It could be a triangle, and if the sides are the same length and the angles are the same, then it would be called a regular polygon. So an equilateral, the way you can tell the difference between an equilateral and an equiangular is the lateral is only talking about the sides. All sides of the shape are the same length, just the sides. So if you look at this purple polygon, this is the same as this, and so on all the way around. Equiangular, all angles of the shape are the same. The key word is angles, meaning that everything inside this little angle here is the same degrees as this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. If one of them isn't, then it's not equiangular, meaning angles. Line of symmetry. All you have to remember is it's a line that divides the shape evenly in half. So as you can see, this line right here, this dotted line, divides this triangle evenly in half. So whatever's on the left is the same as whatever's on the right amount of space. So make sure this is all in your notes. Okay, so vocabulary term is diameter. The diameter is just the length of the circle. So if you, from point X to point Y, is just the length. That's the diameter. The radius is half the length of a circle starting at the center. So if I go to the center of this blue circle, I start right there and go to the edge. That dotted line is known as the radius of a circle. Circle. A circle is labeled by its center. Do you see how I highlighted here in yellow? I drew a little circle with a dot in it and then put an S, because that is over here, if you look at the image, that's how we label or identify this particular circle. Circumference. It's just the distance around the circle. So as you can see here, circumference is the distance all the way around. How far is it from here to go all the way around and reconnect? What is that distance? So make sure that you write down this diagram so that you can input these proper formulas. So pause the video, and then I want you to come back to write the formulas. Okay, thank you for pausing. So if you can see here, we're trying to find the area of a rectangle. And you may remember this as base times height. So we take base times the height. If you prefer to write it, you could write it like this: base times height, if you can't remember how to do that. If you, can't remember that B and H next to each other variables, means you're multiplying. To find the area of a polygon, which is just like a slanted rectangle, it's the same thing. Base times height, or if you prefer to write it like this, that's fine. Now the area of a rectangle, if you were to cut this triangle right in half, or not triangle, rectangle, it would give you two triangles. So it's exactly, there's two ways you can write this formula. 1/2 times base times height, or the method I prefer is base times height divided by 2. Either one is fine. Now here's another way to find the same information, the area of a rectangle, using different variables. So in elementary, you use base times height, but in middle school and in high school, you're probably going to see it as a length times width. So the area of this, if this was the base and this was the height, we would do L times W. Or if you preferred to write it, you could do it like this. Those are exactly the same thing. And that's also the same as base times height, or base times height, like that. I just wanted you to see that practicality. If this was the base and this was the height. Same thing with the square. If you had a square, you could write L times L, or you could just write L squared. That's the same as base times height. Because in a square, it's going to be the same length on all sides. Now here's a triangle. This one, just a reminder, the area is going to be base times height divided by 2, or it could be L times W divided by 2. Now, what if we were handling perimeter? Now, if you don't remember, perimeter is the area, not the area, excuse me, how far around it is along each shape, the distance around each shape. So the distance of this triangle, or this square, or this rectangle. So if it's a rectangle, you could write it as L plus W plus L plus W, or you could write it as 2L plus 2W. So L meaning the length and the width for W. So the perimeter of a square could be L plus L plus L plus L, or it could be written as 4 times L, because they're all the same distance around. And at this point, you are not going to learn how to find the area of a triangle per se, because that's a little more complicated. It's a little called trigonometry. I think that's when they bring in hypotenuse and sine and cosine. So it's not anything important you need to know now, but you will learn it in geometry in high school. Now please draw these shapes along with all the letters that apply, and this is going to be how you find the area of a kite, a trapezoid, or a rhombus. And if you don't know what those mean, the shape tells you that this is a trapezoid. It's usually seen as a square with extended sides, and a kite, well, you know what that looks like, and a rhombus. So make sure you don't confuse a kite and a rhombus. So pause the video and make sure you draw these out. Okay, welcome back. So the area of a kite is 1/2 D1 times D2. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2, and then I want you to put a parentheses, B1 plus B2 times the height. And then the area of a rhombus is 1/2 D1 times D2. Please add that to your notes. So now, this completes our notes. I need you to come see me, your teacher, for a signature. I'm going to evaluate your notes to make sure that they are very good notes, and you're going to get graded on them. This is going to be a quiz score, so if you do not do well, I'm not going to recommend you go back and change them. You know the expectations of what notes should look like, and I will grade accordingly to the effort that you've put in taking these notes. You do a great job, you get an A. You don't do a good job, well, you know what type of grade you'd be getting. So make sure before you come to me that these are perfect looking notes with all the information that is in this video. Thank you.